Part 3. The Pattern Completes, Chapter 1. The envelope 3 weeks after Meera Rathod resigned from the police force. An envelope arrived at the India Today office in Delhi. The journalist who opened it was named Rohit Sharma. He had been investigating corruption in the Intelligence Bureau for 2 years. Every lead had gone cold. Every source had disappeared. Every door had closed, until this envelope. Inside, photocopies, dozens of them. A case file from 1990, 12 murders. A spiral pattern. A name circled in red ink, Dr. Arindam Chakraborty, Professor Emeritus, Presidency College, Kolkata, and a note, handwritten. Urgent. I could not finish this. Perhaps you can. For Vikram, for truth. No signature, no return address. But the postmark was clear, Kolkata. Mailed the day before ACP Meera Rathod's arrest made national headlines. Rohit read through the night. By morning he had made his decision. The story would run. The pattern would complete. Justice delayed is not justice denied. Sometimes it is only justice waiting. For the right moment, for the right voice, for someone who cares. Underscore 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 Meera sat in her childhood bedroom in Dehradun, staring at her phone. Her ex-husband had taken Arjun to his parents. Safe. Hidden. Away from Kolkata's reach. She had failed. 13 years after the murders, the killer still walked free. Vikram Bose had died for nothing. The 12 family still waited. Her phone buzzed. A news alert. Exclusive. Serial killer protected by Intelligence Bureau for 16 years. India Today investigation. Her hands shook. She clicked the link. There it was. Everything. Vikram's evidence, the photographs, the witness statements. Dr. Chakraborty's name in bold print. The Intelligence Bureau's protection documented with official seals and classified stamps. The journalist had done what she could not. He had made it public, too public to bury, too explosive to ignore. Meera called Inspector Harish Singh. Have you seen the news? His voice was electric. I sent him the evidence before they arrested me. You genius. You absolute genius. Harish laughed. It was the sound of victory. The CBI is taking over. I have no choice. The country is watching. Politicians are demanding answers. Chakraborty cannot hide now. Will they arrest him? They already have. 1 hour ago. At his home in Kolkata. He tried to run, 78 years old, and he tried to run. Harish paused. Meera, they are calling you a hero. The media wants interviews. The Director General wants to talk about reinstatement. Meera closed her eyes. Reinstatement, her badge, her gun, her purpose. But at what cost? She had sacrificed everything. Her career, her safety, nearly her son. I need to think, she said. Think fast. The world is calling. She hung up. Saturday in silence. Then her phone rang again. Unknown number, she answered. A woman's voice. Old, trembling. Yes. My name is Kamala Devi. My son was murdered in 1989. He was sleeping near Sealdah station. Someone dropped a stone on his head while he slept. The police never found who did it. They said he was just a homeless man. They said it did not matter. Meera's throat tightened. I am sorry for your loss. I saw the news today. They arrested the man who killed my son. After 34 years, I know his name. I know why he did it. I know that someone cared enough to find the truth. The old woman wept, quiet, dignified, the weeping of someone who had waited decades for this moment. Thank you, Kamala Devi whispered. Thank you for not forgetting my boy. Thank you for making them see he mattered. Meera could not speak, could not breathe. His name was Raju, the woman continued. He was 23. He had a beautiful smile. He loved cricket. He was my only son. I will remember his name, Meera managed. I promise. After the call ended, Meera sat for a long time. Then she made her decision. Chapter 2, The trial of Dr. Arindam Chakraborty began in March 2007. Kolkata High Court. The media circus never ended. Meera attended every day. Reinstated as superintendent of police, Noida Crime Branch, promoted for her work on the case. The Naali Rani, the detective who never gave up, but she did not feel like a hero. She felt like someone who had barely survived. The prosecution was led by senior public prosecutor Anjali Mehta, sharp, ruthless. She had built her career on cases everyone said were unwinnable. Dr. Chakraborty, Anjali began on the first day. You are charged with 12 counts of premeditated murder. How do you plead? The old man stood, white beard, wire, rimmed glasses. He looked like someone's grandfather. Not guilty, he said, calm, confident, smiling. The courtroom erupted. Journalists scribbled. Cameras flashed. The judge hammered his gavel. Order, order in this court. Meera watched from the public gallery. Chakraborty caught her eye, smiled wider, mouthed something. You could not stop me. She did not react, did not give him the satisfaction. The trial lasted 8 months. The evidence was overwhelming. Vikram's notes, the geological analysis of the stones, Purulia quarry records showing Chakraborty's family owned the source, witness testimony from night watchmen, students, a quarry worker. The defense argued it was all circumstantial. No direct evidence. No forensic proof linking Chakraborty to the actual murders. The stones could have been taken by anyone. The witnesses were unreliable. The case was built on conjecture and conspiracy theory. But Anjali Mehta was patient. Methodical, she built the pattern piece by piece. The stones, she said, holding up a photograph of one. 12 murders. 12 stones. All from the same quarry. The Chakraborty family quarry in Purulia. Coincidence? The defense objected. Overruled. The spiral pattern, Anjali continued. All 12 murders, if mapped, form a perfect logarithmic spiral. The mathematical precision required to plan this is extraordinary. Dr. Chakraborty has a doctorate in sociology, with a specialization in urban spatial planning. He wrote his thesis on geometric patterns in city development. Coincidence? The defense objected, overruled. The motive, Anjali said, producing copies of Chakraborty's published papers. In 1985, the accused wrote, homelessness is a social disease requiring surgical intervention. The removal of the diseased tissue preserves the healthy organism. He advocated for what he called urban cleansing. He believed homeless populations should be eliminated for the greater good of society. She paused. Let the words sink in. 4 years after writing that paper, 12 homeless men were murdered. Their bodies arranged in a pattern pointing directly to his office. That is not coincidence. That is a signature. The courtroom was silent. Chakraborty sat motionless. The smile gone. On the final day, the prosecution called its last witness. Meera had not expected this. The prosecution calls Superintendent Meera Rathod to the stand. Meera stood, walked to the witness box, took the oath. Anjali approached. Superintendent Rathod, you reopened this case in 2006. Why? Because it was never properly investigated. The victims were dismissed as insignificant. But every life has value. Every murder deserves justice. You discovered evidence hidden by Inspector Vikram Bose in 1990? Can you describe what you found? Meera nodded. Inspector Bose hid a complete case file in the College Street drainage system. He included witness statements, forensic analysis, and his own conclusions. He identified Dr. Chakraborty as the killer, but before he could make an arrest, he disappeared. Why did he hide the evidence? Because he knew he would be stopped. The Intelligence Bureau had classified Dr. Chakraborty as a protected asset. Inspector Bose hid the evidence so that one day someone would find it. Someone who cared enough to look in the places society ignores. Anjali held up Vikram's notebook. This is Inspector Bose's original case file. Found exactly where Superintendent Rathod said. Sealed in waterproof casing, preserved for 16 years. Waiting. She turned to Meera. How did you find it? Meera hesitated. Grid sight was not something she discussed publicly. I used spatial analysis. Pattern recognition. The 12 murders formed a spiral. The spiral pointed to a specific location. I searched that location thoroughly, including the drainage system. And you found what Inspector Bose left behind. Yes, one final question, Superintendent. Do you believe Dr. Chakraborty is guilty? The defense objected. Calls for speculation. Overruled, the judge said. The witness may answer. Meera looked directly at Chakraborty. I do not believe he is guilty. I know he is guilty. I have seen the evidence. I have spoken to witnesses. I have stood where Inspector Bose stood and seen what he saw. This man murdered 12 innocent people because he believed their lives were worthless. He is guilty, and he must be held accountable. Silence. Then Chakraborty laughed. A cold, brittle sound. You think you have won, he said, standing. You think justice has been served. But I did win. I eliminated 12 units of social waste. I improved the city. And I lived free for 17 years. 17 years of freedom for 12 homeless men. I call that a victory. The courtroom exploded. Shouts. Cries of outrage. The judge hammering his gavel. Security restrained Chakraborty. Dragged him from the courtroom. His laughter echoed down the hall. Chapter 3. The verdict. The jury deliberated for 3 days. On the third day they returned. On the charge of murder in the first degree. Count 1. How do you find the defendant? Guilty. Count 2. Guilty. 12 times. 12. Guilty verdicts. The families wept. Meera sat motionless. The judge called for sentencing. Dr. Arindam Chakraborty, you have been found guilty of 12 counts of premeditated murder. You have shown no remorse. You have demonstrated contempt for human life and for this court. The judge removed his glasses. Looked directly at the old man. You used your education, your position, your privilege to justify the murder of 12 human beings. You believed yourself above the law, above morality, above basic human decency. He put his glasses back on. I sentence you to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. 12 consecutive life sentences. You will die in prison, and the world will forget you, but we will remember them, Raju, Dinesh, Shankar, Gopal, Arun, Mahash, Rushesh, Ravi, Prakash, Vijay, Ramesh, Mohan. The judge stood. The courtroom stood. These names will be recorded. These men mattered. These men are remembered. Court is adjourned. Chakraborty was led away. He did not look back. Outside the courthouse, Meera stood in the rain. Kolkata rain, the same rain that had fallen on the 12 victims as they slept. A woman approached, old, bent, holding a photograph. Superintendent. The woman's voice was soft. Meera turned. I am Kamala Devi. We spoke on the phone. My son was Raju, the first victim. Meera recognized the voice, the woman who had called her in Dehradun. Kamala held out the photograph. A young man, bright smile, holding a cricket bat. This was my Raju. 23 years old. He had dreams. He wanted to be a cricket coach, but he lost his job, lost his home, ended up on the streets. Tears ran down her weathered face. The police said he did not matter, but you proved them wrong. You proved my son mattered. Meera took the photograph, looked at the young man's face. So alive, so full of hope. He mattered, Meera said. They all mattered, and now the world knows. Kamala embraced her, a brief, tight hug. Then she pulled back. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for being the one who cared. She walked away into the rain. Meera watched her go. Then she felt it. Grid sight activating without her willing it. The world split into 3 layers. Physical, the courthouse, the rain, the crowds dispersing, missing, nothing. Everything was complete. The pattern was whole, ghost, 12 figures, transparent, luminous, standing in the rain, watching Raju, Dinesh, Shankar, Gopal, Arun, Mahash, Sharesh, Ravi, Prakash, Vijay, Ramesh, Mohan. They stood in their spiral formation, not as they died, but as they lived, young, whole, smiling. And one more, Inspector Vikram Bose, standing at the center of the spiral. He nodded to Meera. A small, sad smile. Then they faded, one by one, until only rain remained. Meera closed her eyes. The layers collapsed. Rest now, she whispered. You are remembered. Chapter 4. The award. 6 months later, Meera stood in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, in New Delhi. The president's residence, marble halls, portraits of leaders. She wore her dress uniform, superintendent's insignia. The Naali Rani, the Drain Queen. The President of India stood before her, holding a medal, the President's Police Medal. For distinguished service, Superintendent Meera Rathod. The President said, for exceptional courage, investigative excellence, and unwavering commitment to justice, I present you with this medal. You reopened a case the system had forgotten. You found evidence hidden for 16 years. You brought a serial killer to justice. You honored 12 lives that society had dismissed as worthless. You proved that in India, truth alone triumphs. Satyameva Jayat. The president pinned the medal to her uniform. Applause filled the hall. Cameras flashed, but Meera felt numb. Afterward, at the reception, a senior official approached. Home Secretary, one of the most powerful bureaucrats in India, Superintendent Rathod. Impressive work on the Kolkata case. Thank you, sir. I understand you have a unique skill, spatial analysis, pattern recognition. Some call it grid sight. Meera tensed. I use standard investigative techniques combined with intuition. Of course. The official smiled, knowing. We have other cold cases. Difficult ones. Cases where standard techniques have failed. We could use someone with your intuition. He handed her a card. No name, just a phone number. If you are interested in more challenging work, cases that matter, call this number. He walked away. Meera looked at the card, then at the medal on her chest. She had won. Justice had been served, the pattern was complete. So why did it feel unfinished? Chapter 5. The return. Meera returned to Noida, to her small apartment, to Arjun. Her son had grown during the months in Dehradun, taller, quieter, more aware of the dangers his mother faced. Ma, he said on her first night home, are you going to leave again? I will always come back, she said, but what if you cannot? What if they hurt you? Meera pulled him close. Arjun, there are people in this world who hurt others, who believe some lives do not matter. If people like me do not stop them, who will? But why does it have to be you? Because I can see things others cannot. I can find patterns. I can give voices to the forgotten. It is not easy, but it is necessary. Arjun was quiet for a long time. The 12 men, he finally said. Did they have families? Yes, mothers, brothers, sisters, children. And now their families know the truth. Yes, then it was worth it. Meera looked at her son, 12 years old, too wise for his age. Yes, she agreed. It was worth it. Chapter 6. The file. 3 months later, Meera sat at her desk in Noida Crime Branch headquarters. Paperwork. Reports routine. She had been assigned to review cold cases from 2003 to 2012, the bureaucracy's way of using her skills while keeping her away from active danger. Fine, she would take it. A file landed on her desk. Delivered by a junior constable. From the archives, ma'am. Marked priority review. Meera opened it. Case number 99, Ghaziabad, 1994, 11 women. Ages 20 to 35, strangled. Bodies found wrapped in silk fabric, each murder exactly 14 days apart. Investigation stalled. No arrests. Case closed in 1996 due to lack of evidence. Meera read through the file, studied the crime scene photographs. The pattern became clear. The bodies were not randomly disposed of, they formed a line. 11 points along the Grand Trunk Road from Delhi to Ghaziabad. The silk fabric was not random. Each piece was from a different sari, traditional, hand-woven, expensive, and the victims, all 11 had one thing in common. They worked in textile factories, weavers, dyers, seamstresses. Meera felt grid sight tingle at the base of her skull. The pattern wanted to reveal itself. She closed the file, looked at the date, 1994, 13 years ago. The killer could still be alive, still free. She picked up her phone. Called Inspector Harish Singh. Harish, I need you to pull all textile factory records from Ghaziabad, 1993 to 1995. Textile factories, Meera. What case are you working? Case 99, the silk strangler. Silence. Then, that case is closed, unsolved. It is reopening today. Another pause. You never stop, do you? Number I do not. Meera hung up, opened the file again, stared at the photographs. 11 women. Forgotten. Dismissed. Just workers, just women, but not to Meera. To Meera they were voices waiting to be heard, patterns waiting to be seen, justice waiting to be delivered. She pulled out a map of Ghaziabad, began marking locations. The hunt had begun again. Epilogue: the pattern never ends that night. Meera stood on her apartment balcony. Noida spread before her. Lights, traffic, millions of lives. Somewhere in that city, in this country, crimes waited in darkness. Victims waited for justice. Families waited for answers. And Meera would find them, because that was who she was. Not just a police officer, not just a detective, the Naali Rani, the drain queen. The one who looked where others refused to see. The one who remembered the forgotten. The one who completed patterns others could not perceive. Grid sight flickered, showing her the city in 3 layers: physical, buildings, roads, people, missing, the gaps, the absences, the victims no one had found yet. Ghost, the echoes, the crimes, the patterns waiting to be uncovered. She closed her eyes. Let the layers collapse. Tomorrow she would begin case 99. Tomorrow she would hunt again. But tonight, she allowed herself a moment of peace. The 12 were at rest. Vikram could rest. The pattern was complete. Until the next pattern began, because the truth was this: evil never sleeps. Injustice never stops. The powerful will always prey on the powerless. But neither does Meera Rathod sleep easy, and as long as she draws breath, as long as grid sight shows her what others cannot see, she will hunt. She will find. She will remember, and she will deliver justice. Satyameva Jayat. Truth alone triumphs. Always. Meera turned from the balcony, walked inside, picked up the file for case 99. 11 women. The Silk Strangler. Ghaziabad, 1994. She opened her notebook, began to write. Victim 1. Name: Pooja Sharma. Age 23. Weaver at Gupta Textile Mill. Found March 1st, 1994. Wrapped in red silk sari. Strangled with yellow cotton thread. Body discovered on Grand Trunk Road. Kilometer marker: 42. The words flowed. The pattern emerged, and Meera smiled, not with joy, but with purpose. This was who she was. This was what she did, and she would never stop. The next morning, Meera's phone rang. Unknown number, she answered. Superintendent Rathod? A man's voice. Nervous. Speaking. My name is Rakesh Sharma. My sister was murdered in 1994. Pooja Sharma. She was 23. They found her on the highway, wrapped in silk. The police said they could not find who did it. They said the case was closed. Meera sat up straighter. Mr. Sharma, I reopened your sister's case yesterday. Silence, then a sob. After 13 years. Why now? Because she deserves justice. They all do, and I will find who did this. How can you be sure? Because I see patterns others miss. Because I do not give up. Because your sister mattered. Another sob, quiet, grateful. Thank you, Rakesh whispered. Thank you for remembering her. After the call, Meera stood, stretched. Looked at the caseboard she had started. 11 photographs, 11 women, 11 lives cut short. I will remember all of you, she said to the photographs. I promise. She picked up her jacket, her badge, her gun. Time to go to Ghaziabad. Time to walk the Grand Trunk Road. Time to see what grid sight would show her. Time to hunt. Final scene. The call 6 months after the Chakrabarti verdict. Meera received a letter. No return address. But she recognized the handwriting. Dr. Arindam Chakrabarti. From Tihar jail in Delhi. She almost threw it away, but curiosity stopped her. Inside, 1 page. Neat handwriting. Superintendent Rathod. I write this from my cell. Life imprisonment. 12 consecutive sentences. I will die here. You won. But did you? You think you saved the city. You think you honored the 12. But ask yourself, who remembers their names today? The media moved on. The public forgot, justice was served, and society continued as before. The homeless still sleep on the streets. Society still ignores them. Nothing changed. I killed 12. But the system kills thousands through neglect, through apathy, through institutionalized indifference. You caught one monster. But the true monster is the society that created the conditions I exploited. So yes, you won. You put me in prison. But the pattern continues. Different killer, same victims, because society has not changed. Perhaps one day you will see that. Perhaps one day you will realize we were fighting the same battle. You through justice, I through elimination. Both of us trying to fix a broken system. I wish you well in your future cases. I hear you have reopened the Ghaziabad silk strangler file. 11 women, textile workers. 1994. Good luck. You will need it. Dr. Arindam Chakraborty, prisoner number 47,832 Tihar Jail. Meera read the letter twice. Then she lit a match. Watched it burn. He was wrong. Change did not come from murder. It came from remembering, from honoring, from refusing to let anyone be forgotten. Raju, Dinesh, Shankar, Gopal, Arun, Mahesh, Sharesh, Ravi, Prakash, Vijay, Ramesh, Mohan. 12 names that would not be forgotten, not while she lived. And 11 more names waiting. Pooja, Naha, Priya, Anjali, Kavita, Deepa, Sunita, Geeta, Radha, Meena, Savita. The silk strangler's victims. Meera would find him, she would bring him to justice, and she would make sure the world remembered every single name. That was the difference between her and Chakraborty. He killed to erase. She investigated to remember. He destroyed lives. She restored dignity. He created patterns of death. She completed patterns of justice. And that made all the difference. Meera stood. Walked to her wall. The caseboard for 99 was growing. Red strings connecting locations, photographs. Timelines. She picked up a marker, wrote across the top. The silk strangler, case number 99. Ghaziabad, 1994. Below it, 11 women. 11 voices, one truth. And below that, justice delayed is not justice denied. She capped the marker, stared at the board. Grid sight activated. The layers appeared. Physical, the board, the strings, the photographs. Missing, the killer, the motive. The final piece, ghost. The 11 women, standing together, waiting. And behind them, one more figure. Male shadowy, holding silk fabric. The killer. He was out there somewhere, and Meera would find him. She turned away from the board, looked out the window at Noida skyline. Somewhere in India, another case waited. Another pattern, another set of forgotten victims, and Meera Rathod would hunt them all. One by one, case by case, pattern by pattern, until the day she could no longer see. Until the day grid sight faded. Until the day her body gave out, but not today. Today she was 39 years old. Superintendent of Police. The Naali Rani, the detective who never stopped. Today, she had work to do. She picked up her phone, dialed Inspector Harish Singh. Harish, I need everything you can find on textile mills in Ghaziabad. 1993 to 1995. Every factory. Every owner. Every worker. On it. When do you want it? Yesterday. Harish laughed. You know, most people relax after solving the case of the decade. I am not most people. Number, you are not. You are the Naali Rani, and thank God for that. Meera smiled. I will call you tomorrow. She hung up, grabbed her jacket. Time to go to Ghaziabad. Time to walk the Grand Trunk Road. Time to stand where the 11 women fell. Time to see what grid sight would reveal. Time to hunt. Because that was who Meera Rathod was. The one who remembered. The one who saw. The one who completed patterns. And the one who never ever stopped. She opened the door, stepped into the hallway. Behind her, the caseboard waited. 11 photographs. 11 women who deserved justice. Ahead of her, the hunt. And inside her, grid sight hummed with anticipation. The pattern was calling. And Meera Rathod always answered. The end of case number 100. The Naali Chronicles continues. Next, Case number 99. The Silk Strangler Ghaziabad, 1994. 11 women, 14 days between each murder. Bodies wrapped in silk, strangled with thread. The killer vanished. Until Meera Rathod reopens the file. Coming soon.